Can I just stop you and say that I think the South London rubbed off on you for once because you said water.
Water. Yeah, but that's a Bristolian. That's a Bristolian thing as well, to not pronounce T's.
Yeah, but not water.
Water.
More like water.
Water.
What's up, witches? It's Claudia here, and I have some exciting news. Finally, we have created a Patreon. So you can find us at patreon.com/truecrimecovenpod. At the moment, there is only one tier. It's the familiar tier, and it's just where you can chuck us a quid, just to help keep us going every month. We aim to expand on this and create new tiers and exciting content. But for now, if you'd like to support us in this way, please do go ahead. That's patreon.com/truecrimecovenpod. Enjoy the episode, guys.
What's up, witches?
Hi, I'm Claudia.
And I'm Jess.
And welcome to True Crime Coven.
Hey, Claudia.
Hi, Jess, you alright?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I have slept for 17 hours.
I am jealous.
I am part cat.
I'm very, very jealous of that. I think I had about 5 hours sleep last night.
Yeah. I won't brag too much, but yeah, I just woke up and I was like, oh, it's 6 p.m. Shit. It does also mean I've wasted a day of my life.
Well, you clearly needed the sleep. I feel like if you're sleeping for 17 hours, it's because your body needs it.
You know me, I have a weird relationship with being alive anyway. So for me, I'm like one day closer to death.
Yes. I thought you were going to say with sleep, not being alive.
So, yeah, it is Ghost Story Week.
It is. I have been preparing some ghost stories for you. I hope
some
you're excited.
Ghouly Goo Johns. I don't know what is going on.
What is wrong with you? Maybe like too much sleep is bad for you as well.
I mean, yeah. Also, I've got to be up at 5:30 for work.
Oh, good luck going back to sleep for that.
Yeah.
Do you reckon you will try and sleep, or do you think you'll just stay up and power through?
Oh no, I'm absolutely going to try and sleep.
Okay.
You know, you almost like sleep for too long that you're still tired.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to wake up again. Yeah, it's gonna be that. So that's fine.
Fair.
I'm going to play Sims and then sleep. But anyway.
Oh, nice. Very much sidetracked.
Let's get on to some spooky stories, shall we?
Yeah. So I have 2 ghost stories and kind of like a cryptid. It's like a creepy, cryptidy thing. So would you like it in a sandwich? Our usual format?
Always a sandwich.
Our first ghost story of the day. This was sent in to us by my sister's friend Toby. So thank you,
Thanks,
Toby,
Toby,
for letting us use your story. Hey guys, I have a kind of spooky story which is very short and sweet. I started doing up a van, converting it from a conventional van into a camper van. As you can imagine, it's quite expensive, so I did as much as I could by myself, and I would buy a lot of things secondhand to keep costs down. One day, I was at a car boot sale and I saw a lovely tapestry wall hanging thing that I thought would suit my van's vibe perfectly, so I bought it and hung it up the next day. Not long after I put it in the van, weird things started to happen. Objects were moving, strange noises, the usual, etc, etc. Normally, I'm a bit of a skeptic, so I initially passed it off as I'd forgotten where I'd left something, or wind, or whatever the creaking noises were. Anyway, it kept happening and I was getting more and more freaked out. I can't remember the exact moment where I thought enough is enough and my van was haunted. So I decided to get rid of the tapestry and the weird stuff stopped immediately. I know it's not much, but I guess it's made me question if objects can be haunted as well as places.
I mean, he says that's not much, but I would say that's pretty creepy.
Yeah, I mean, if it makes you get rid of it, like if you're like, oh, it started when I put this in, I'm getting rid of it, and then it stops immediately. Like, even if it's little things that you're like, well, it was definitely that.
Yeah, because that would be a mighty coincidence. And I know, like, the skeptics would say, like, oh, you're just more aware of things, but it's not like you bought it, like, as a haunted object.
It's not like you bought it and then suddenly became more aware of things, and then you got rid of it.
Exactly.
And you suddenly became more aware that those things stopped happening.
Yeah, because I would say, if you buy a haunted object, to me, there's always going to be an element of, like, you're going to notice more things, you're going to hear a creak and put it down to that.
Yeah.
But this wasn't you buying a haunted object and then doing it. This was just you buying an object and then...
It's like if you're in a creepy place, you're more likely to be scared and think you've heard a noise.
Yeah.
But
like, I hear little noises in my house all the time, and I'm like, oh, it's next door. Oh, it's the mice that live in our walls. Oh, it's this and that. But obviously, if I was in, like, what I knew to be a haunted house, I'd be like, it's the ghost. But that's not what's happening here. Also, I do love the secondhand part. That's not a creepy thing at all. I just, you know me, I'm a thrifty bitch. I hate waste. I love anything secondhand. So I'm with you on that. If I am partial to going to the dump and coming home with more stuff than I took.
Like, I went on Vinted the other day. Absolutely love Vinted. And
same. It's dangerous though.
Oh my God, yeah. I paid, I think, £10 plus postage for a pack of, like, I think there must have been like over 30 items of baby clothes for Orla.
Oh, nice.
Because she's just outgrown her newborn stuff and she's in
Which is what most people have bought.
Now. Yeah, so you think she's 2 months old in 2 days. Oh no, tomorrow. She's 2 months old tomorrow. I don't know what day I'm on. And she's just, like, she's already grown out of clothes, which, I mean, like, you're like, yeah, she's a baby, of course. But I mean, imagine if you bought an item of clothes and you grew out of it in 2 months.
Yeah, so what's the point of buying kids brand new stuff? Like, I understand people who have kids get really excited, and, like, I haven't had kids, so I can't speak on their behalf. But, like, I would get really excited. But then I also just think, hang on, they're all gonna, like, grow out of it very soon.
Very quickly, yeah.
And, like, all that stuff's just gonna end up in landfill, which, like, if you're investing in your child's future, better for it not to.
Yeah, like, I'm quite lucky because Orla is slightly under average. Like, she's not tiny, but she's not massive either. And she was in newborn for 2 months. So I'm hoping she's in 0 to 3 months for a little bit longer than 3 months. But
just stop feeding her, Jess. That's my pro-parenting tip.
Oh yeah, she's cluster feeding at the minute, so that's the opposite of not feeding her.
Well, you know, it's time to
her
start
every hour.
It's time to start teaching her that you don't always get what you want. Just a little note there. I am absolutely joking. Please adequately feed your child.
Don't worry, she is well fed. She's getting a little double chin.
But no, I definitely think that's very weird. I would also love to know what the tapestry looked like.
Yeah.
And I would also like to know just what sort of weird things. I know maybe they can't pin it down, which is why Toby hasn't said. But like, we love details. Give us more. Give me more.
I think as well, if it's like lots of little things, like from when I spoke to him, it was like loads of little things. Like, it was always objects moving. And obviously when you're doing up your van, you can't really demonstrate on a podcast, but like, you put something down next to you and you go to pick it back up, and then you put it back down and you go to pick it back up again and it's gone. You're like, okay, well, I didn't misplace that.
I will say, though, that is my life of misplacing things whilst constantly. I'm in the middle of using them. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I just did it. So I've got 2 pens with me because I was doing some choreography before we came on. And they were right next to each other and I managed to lose one. Anyway, with that, shall we move on to our next? Because that actually does lead quite on nicely.
Quite unnicely that leads.
That does lead on quite nicely to our little cryptid story.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I don't know. I have full disclosure. I did steal this a little bit from TikTok, but I really liked the vibe of it and I thought it would be cool on our podcast.
I mean, maybe if we give some, who was the TikToker?
Is Geodosaurus.
Thank you, Geodosaurus, for giving us content. We are now going to tell everyone to go and look at your content.
Yeah, basically she does loads on spooky lakes.
Oh, okay. So it definitely sounds like something we should check out.
Yeah. This one specifically quite tied in nicely to our crime ghostly podcast.
Well, thank you so much. Everyone go check her out. I've already forgotten her name.
Geodosaurus. So Geodesaurus.
Thank you, Geodosaurus.
Have you ever heard of Lake Mead?
No. I was going to say yes, but I feel like maybe just because I know mead is a thing.
Yeah, maybe. So it's a man-made
reservoir
which was formed by the Hoover Dam on the Colorado River, and it's located on the border of Nevada and Arizona.
Okay.
And it is the largest
reservoir
in the United States in terms of water capacity, but it also provides water for roughly 25 million people from Arizona, California, Nevada, and some of Mexico.
Can I just stop you and say that I think the South London rubbed off on you for once because you said water.
Water. That's a Bristolian. That's a Bristolian thing as well, to not pronounce T's.
Yeah, but not water.
Water.
More like water.
Water. It is 112 miles long and 532 foot deep.
Okay.
So
I can't really think about how big that is, to be honest.
I mean, I'm 5'6", so
so
about
how many Jesses?
100 of me stacked on top, maybe, and then some.
Too many Jesses.
Yeah, so quite a few. So it is pretty freaking big. However, due to droughts from global warming, hence why it's related to recycle guys, because we're reducing our water supply, but also increased water demand, it hasn't actually been at full capacity since 1983. And as of the 31st of May this year, it was only at 26.63% capacity.
So a quarter.
Yeah. Which is hardly anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously it's a massive lake, and because it's reducing in capacity, inevitably you're going to find things. It's a man-made lake. It's also known to be near quite a few archaeological sites nearby.
Okay.
So as you can imagine, like, quite a few things will drift on shore as the lake reduces. Also, it's quite a busy lake. Like, parts of it are privately owned. It was used a lot in World War II to, like, transport, like, goods and troops across it. It's well known for, like, swimming, and, like, there's loads of, like, marinas and little beaches on it. So it's a really, really, really busy lake.
Okay.
I've got my sources from quite a few articles. They all say pretty much the same thing. But this year alone, 6 bodies have been recovered from the lake. It's not that sinister, as most of them have been put down to accidental drownings.
Okay. But then we don't know if that's necessarily true.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't know what lurks in the lakes.
Okay, Jess.
Yeah. Going a bit delirious. So I'm going to start with the most recent, because that's the one that most of the reports are about. Because the most recent body was identified as Thomas, I think it's Ernst, how they pronounce his name, who was a 42-year-old male who was known to have drowned in 2002 while he was swimming with his family. Like, his family reported that he drowned,
so sad.
but obviously the lake's massive and so deep that unfortunately they couldn't find his body. And 20 years later, they managed to find it, and a bit bittersweet, but, like, at least his family now have that closure that his body's been found. Like, his daughter did an interview about it.
So sad that obviously that happened. Like, that, you know, it was probably meant to be a really nice day out that ended in tragedy.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine that, but nice for them that, although, I mean, it is nice that the body's been found, because it's not like he was a missing person, so they always had that hope that maybe he would be found safely. Like, it is nice for them that his body's found, because actually now they can put him to rest,
burial, and like what he deserves.
A bit of closure, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think sadly as well, like, I think it was 2 young sisters who found him as well. I think they were like in their early 20s. So yeah, so not nice for them to find it either. So that was kind of like the most recent one, and quite a happy but sad story at the same time. So the first body was actually found on the 1st of May this year. There was a skeleton that was actually found inside of a barrel, and they found that the person inside the barrel had died from a gunshot wound to the head.
Yeah, that's not a drowning.
No, not a drowning. So they predicted that this person was alive in the mid-70s to early 80s. So they haven't been able to formally identify the person, but they think it might be connected to some organised crime in Las Vegas and
Yeah, it
links
sounds
to
quite
mafia.
organised, doesn't it?
Yeah, so they're thinking like, well, there's a historian actually said who like looks into the mafia in Vegas and said it's actually probably quite likely because they didn't want to keep notes. They would have burnt things and they probably dumped loads in the lake.
Yeah.
So he thinks as the lake reduces in capacity, they're probably going to find more and more links to like mob crimes and stuff in Vegas. So yeah, a little bit
Very
creepy.
sad though, still.
Yeah. So yeah, it might be a little dumping ground. So in roughly around August time, like mid-August, there was also in the same spot that body was found, there was a gun found.
Okay.
So they haven't confirmed, because this obviously all happened this year. They haven't actually been able to confirm a lot of it, but they haven't confirmed that it was in relation to that shooting or not. But
yeah, I suppose it depends if they've got the bullet in the barrel.
Yeah.
That they can then do ballistics tests on.
But also, it's just like, it might, even if it's not necessarily related to that body, could it be related to another body? Could it be more things related to the mob, the mafia?
Put it this way, you don't tend to go swimming with your gun in your pocket and forget and it falls out. Like, that's a getting rid of your gun, isn't it? Getting rid of evidence.
You know, there's lots of World War II vessels like sunk in the lake as well.
Oh, okay.
And I think they would know the difference between that gun and another gun.
Yeah.
And then the other bodies that they found, so there was one found on the 7th of May, which is obviously very, very close to the first body found.
Yeah.
Again, haven't really been able to identify, but they think it's a man between the ages of 23 and 38.
Okay.
That's what they managed to narrow it down to. And then 2 months later, on the 25th of July, there was another report of a partial human remains found on Boulder Beach.
Okay.
And exactly the same happened on the 6th of August. So in the same place, and they were both partial skeleton remains.
Okay,
So,
which could mean that obviously other parts have drifted elsewhere.
yeah. And I think they did rule out that they were two separate people. So two separate skeletons. So yeah.
Or does it mean that only half a person was...
It was found, yeah.
Was dumped, though? Does it mean only half... Like, does it mean a torso was dumped and the legs are elsewhere? Or does it mean that parts
down there? Yeah.
Yeah, does it mean parts have drifted away? It's all... yeah.
It's all a bit creepy. I just think it's just a lake, a massive, massive body of water that holds a lot of secrets.
I will say one thing that it always makes me think of is, like, we really have just ruined the world. Like,
oh God, yeah.
There's so much stuff in every waterway and like soil and just everything. It's like, oh Jesus Christ, like we really have just ruined the world.
Yeah,
that's the really scary thing.
Yeah, yeah. And as sad as it is, like people dying in nature, I'm like, it's just the world kind of fighting back and being like, actually, don't do all this horrible shit to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so 6 bodies this year, that's yeah, I don't think I'll be swimming in there anymore.
Yeah, so obviously it is mostly due to the fact that the water is obviously dropping and more things are surfacing. So they actually reported as well that, obviously I said about Second World War vessels, they've started to emerge, and there's a B-29 plane. I don't know what that means, but
no. Means nothing to me, but there's a plane.
Yeah, there's a plane, and it's actually become visible for the first time in decades.
Okay, that's scary.
Yeah, so there's obviously a lot, and you're thinking, God, if that's all starting to emerge, like what else is down there? Like, this is stuff that is like surface level, but what is deeper? You think like, what did I say, 500 and something foot?
Yeah.
532 feet deep. How much could be down there?
Yeah. This is why I don't really like swimming in lakes and deep sea or anything.
Open water, yeah.
Yeah, just because I think when you can't see the bottom, this is what's at the bottom.
Yeah. Also, like, no one's reported if there's any, like, what wildlife's in there, but surely, like, even though it's a man-made reservoir, you can't keep wildlife out of it.
No, of course. There's going to be stuff in there.
Yeah. So I personally don't know why people keep swimming in there, because in between the years 2001 and last year, there has been 101 reportings of people drowning in the lake.
Oh.
Yeah. Weird number, 101. But obviously, that's people being reported. That's not people being dumped, people accidentally falling in and, like, being reported missing.
Yeah.
So
so I went paddleboarding in the River Avon, as in Bristol's main river.
Yeah.
I went paddleboarding, and like some people were like, "Oh, I'd really want to swim in here," and I was like, "Absolutely not, actually," because like there's going to be so much rubbish and needles and all that stuff. But also there was a body recently found, and there's going to be multiple bodies in there. And like when I fell in off the paddleboard a few times, I instantly was like trying so hard to get up there quickly.
Yeah.
Like back up quickly.
My friend did the same. She used to paddleboard on there, and she was like, some of the fish in there are massive and terrifying.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know if you've listened to the Patreon sneak peek episode that we did, where we're going to be doing...
I did.
In Patreon at some point, we're going to be doing hopefully monthly roundups of paranormal and true crime news. But I spoke there about the body being found in Avon River. And I don't know if I mentioned that someone accidentally put up a picture on Reddit of the body. They didn't mean to.
Oh, really?
So they put up a picture of the police and all the emergency services vehicles by the side of the road. And it turned out if you actually zoomed into the bottom left of the photo, you could see, sadly, the body of the man who we believe to be Bakar.
Oh, that's really sad.
I've seen the picture. It's not something I am going to share around because...
No, fair enough.
That's... You know, if that was my loved one, I wouldn't want that shared around.
Yeah.
Like
has it been taken down?
Yeah, it got taken down. But I saw it, and and they completely didn't mean to. It was a complete mistake, because it is one of those things. If you didn't tell someone to where to look on the photo, they wouldn't probably see it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I've said to people at parties about this. Like, that sounds weird, but like, you know, I was talking to someone about it, and they're like, "Oh, show me the picture," and I'm like, "Well, I haven't got it anymore." But also, like, no.
Yeah.
That is someone's loved one. Like, it's not a like, look at this cool photo. Like, no, that's a dead body.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. There are bodies in the River Avon.
Probably in every river or lake. You might get reported as a missing person, but that's a lot of lake to search.
It's weird you say that, actually, because when I was growing up, there was someone who was local to my area who went missing. And it was believed that they had jumped into the Thames, and obviously people think it looks like a really slow-moving river, such as the Avon, but there's undercurrents that just pull you in, pull you under, and you've got no way of getting out.
Yeah, and I think with this lake as well, like, if it took 20 years for them to find that man.
Yeah.
Imagine...
I mean, they did find this guy from my local, and it was quite sad, because I think he was about 16.
Oh,
and
really
18,
sad.
He was like, I remember I followed his sister on MySpace, coincidentally. But his name was Josh. I can't remember his last name now, but that was really sad.
That's really sad. I personally wouldn't go swimming in that lake. I think there's just
I wouldn't go swimming in a lake, full stop.
Too much history there. But yeah, that's everything that I have on Lake Mead. I think it's quite a creepy little lake.
Yeah. I think American lakes are quite creepy in general.
There's a lot of lakes in America and Canada as well.
Yeah, just because, like, I suppose they're the setting of quite a few, like, haunted cabin things and, like...
Yeah.
You know, like, creep and that. But, if someone ever invited me to their cabin by the lake eat, I would be like, no, I'm all right, actually. Can we just go to Disneyland? You know, speaking about environmentally friendly things, I actually think I might be more of a Disneyland girl in that instance.
Yeah, fair enough. should we move on to our final story of the evening? Do you know what? I almost made myself a Baileys before we started recording, and now I'm really glad we didn't, because imagine how much more of a car crash that would have been.
Oh, I fucking love Baileys.
Same. Final story of the night is sent in by one of my sister's work colleagues. So my sister has really helped me get this episode together. Actually, my siblings, because my brother introduced me to the lake, and my sister sent me a bit of the ghost story. So it's been a little, I was going to say a Stockwell combination there, but I'm not a Stockwell anymore, unfortunately.
No.
Oh well. But a little sibling contribution. So if they don't listen to this episode, then I'm going to disown them.
Exactly. That's how it is. That's
how it works. Yeah. Okay, so last story of the night. Are you ready?
Yep.
I work at an old boarding school in the drama department. One evening, when all the boarders were in bed, I was sorting something out in the theatre hall, on stage, when I saw a teenager walk past the window to the sound deck and disappear onto the other side. I went to go check it out, and when I went up, there was no student in the sound or lighting room. I know this doesn't sound too creepy or scary, as you may be thinking maybe they just left the room. It was probably a student out of bed. However, the only entrance to the room is from inside the main theatre, so I would have been able to see them enter and exit. To add to the mystery, it was a male teenager that walked past the window, and although the school is co-ed now, at the time of this story, it was an all-girls school. And that's the end of their story.
Ooh.
So another short and sweet one this week, but
that's all right.
But still very creepy, because we haven't had many stories sent in where they've actually seen the ghost walk past, and
it is quite rare to have that.
Yeah,
that experience,
and I mean, obviously,
a full body apparition, as they say.
Yeah, so I mean, to go and check it out, you must be quite adamant that you've seen a male teenager.
Well, yeah, because I think we all see things move out the corner of our eyes, and I definitely have. But there's nothing I've ever checked out because I've actually thought, there's
someone there.
Yeah.
Again,
nothing's ever been that solid.
Yeah. Again, it is an old school. Like, I know what school it is, and it was like a church before it was a school.
Oh, okay.
And then it's been like expanded into like a manor house and a school, and
so it's got a rich history.
Yeah, and it was a school during the war as well.
Oh, okay.
That held people who because it's quite in the country, so it held like evacuees and stuff like that. So it is a very old place. Yeah. So
it's got a lot going on.
Yeah. I mean, there are
also
modern
schools
parts
are creepy.
Oh god, yeah. Also, and I dropped my sister to a work party, and I've picked her up from there before, and I'm not kidding you when I say it's like freaking Hogwarts there. Like,
oh really?
Just the driveway is like a 10-minute drive to the school.
Is it a private school?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's a boarding school. Oh. So you have to drive past all the stables and the rugby and the cricket fields. And then you get there.
Money.
I know, literally. And my sister took me for a walk around there because it's really nice to walk around, and it's got this massive lake. And I was like, oh, Joe, that's a really cool statue of a herring there, like the bird in the lake. And she was like, I don't think that's a statue. And then we walked closer and it flew off, and we were like, oh my god, that was a real bird. It was massive.
Oh god. No, definitely something scary about schools. Definitely something even scarier about boarding schools.
Yeah.
Also, if I went to a boarding school, absolutely not. I'm not staying overnight at school. Like I said, schools are creepy. I'm not going to a boarding school.
Yeah.
I probably would have thought it was quite cool as a kid, but...
Yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't want to do it. What social life do you give your kids outside of school?
Yeah. I did once stay overnight at my school, though, as a kid.
Oh, did you?
When we were 16, each class in sixth form had to do a charity thing at one point in the year. And when it was ours, we decided, because we were a drama class, sixth form, we decided to do a 24-hour drama thing. So we spent 24 hours making a play.
Yeah.
And then showed it to everyone at the end of the 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
It was a bit shit. But yeah, so we stayed overnight at the school for that.
Oh, okay.
But like we didn't go past, we stayed in the hall, and then we had the toilets that were free, and then we did not go elsewhere in the school.
Yeah. Why would you?
No. Terrifying. Yeah. Also,
I mean,
absolutely terrifying.
I get boarding. Like, I know a lot of army families board their kids because they move around so much.
That would be more disruptive.
Yeah, it gives the kids like that little bit of stability. I guess if you've got the money.
My dad went to boarding school.
Oh, really? What did he think of it?
Hated it.
Oh, really?
Absolutely hated it. Yeah, my dad went to boarding school from when he was 7. That's because his family were quite well off. So.
Yeah, I know one person who went to boarding school, and his was because his dad was in the Navy, and it was less disruptive for him to be.
I think I'd rather move around all the time, to be honest.
Yeah, you get to be the cool new kid in every place you go to.
Reinvent yourself constantly.
Yeah,
it's not tiring at all, is it?
Yeah, fresh start every few months.
So is that the end of our episode today?
That is. It was a very short and sweet one today.
Yeah, but you know what? It's also been a hectic month, which, is obviously shown by the fact that we only didn't get an episode out last week, and this one is coming to you late. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, this might just be our lives now. We're very sorry. Yeah,
we're trying our absolute best here. But thank you to everyone who sent in a story, and thank you to Geodosaurus for providing us with some content. Very appreciated. And thank you to you guys for listening and for just being patient with us whilst this month's been a little bit crazy. Hopefully you can all appreciate that December is a crazy month for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Also,
especially when you have a 2-month-old.
Yes. Can't relate. But also, just a little message to say that if December is a difficult month for you, if Christmas is a difficult month for you, difficult time for you, we are here for you. We are really sorry. If you struggle at all, just know that you're not alone. Unfortunately, a lot of people struggle during this time. Everyone's telling you to be happy and merry, and for a lot of people, it's just simply not that.
No.
And if that's you, then we really feel for you. We're there with you. And just please make sure you're looking after yourself. And, if you need time off and you need time off work, do it. If you need time away from functions, have time to yourself. Just make sure you look after yourself, because there's a lot of pressure to be happy and merry at this time of year. And you know what? You don't have to be anything you're not feeling.
On that note as well, if you are a friend of someone who struggles around this time of year for whatever reason, then just check in on them, make sure that
Reach
they're okay.
out,
Yeah, be the one to make that first move, because it's hard for them. Yeah,
because for a lot of people it's really hard, especially because they're like, I don't want to be a downer on everyone else while they're having a good time. You never know how many people might be feeling the exact same.
Yeah.
So just be kind to each other, and also be kind to retail workers and hospitality workers at this time of year. I have no doubt that most people listening to this are the best kind of people, but just remember they're working really hard for not much money. So just be nice, tip if you can, but you know what, a please and thank you and being a reasonable human being also goes a really long way.
Also, they have to listen to Christmas songs on repeat all day, every day. So I mean, if that doesn't drive you batshit crazy, then I don't know what will.
Yeah.
So,
and additionally, support the NHS strikes. Support the postal strikes. Support the rail strikes. Are they annoying and disruptive? Yes, but what are protests meant to be?
Yeah.
So, not meaning to let you, we're just saying, look after yourselves and be kind to everyone else, because that is the true meaning of Christmas, if you believe in it all. The true meaning of Christmas to me is being kind to yourself and everyone else.
Agreed. And eating.
Yes. And also staying spooky. Hey guys, if you have a ghost story or a case suggestion, please email us truecrimecovenpod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on Twitter @truecrimecoven or on Instagram and Facebook, where we are @truecrimecovenpod.
Also, it would mean the absolute world to us if you could rate us wherever you're listening to this right now, be it Spotify, Apple Music, or if you're on YouTube, give us a little thumbs up, click that bell, get notifications every time we post.
Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts from.
Make these two witches smile.
Thanks, witches!